Welcome to Wisdom Science Tales, where we explore timeless stories about life, money, and wisdom that transform our understanding of wealth. Once upon a time, in a small village, lived an old man known for dreaming while others toiled in fields. The villagers often shook their heads, whispering that he was lazy and useless, wasting his days looking at the clouds. His home was dilapidated and empty, a silent testament to years of inaction and relying on the kindness of others. A cold evening, his young grandson approached him with tearful eyes, holding an empty bowl and begging for some warm soup. The old man looked into the boy's hungry eyes and felt a sharp pang of guilt pierce through his heart. That moment changed everything for him, as he realized that dreams alone could not fill the empty belly of a child. Early the next morning, he swallowed his pride and went to his neighbors, asking for any work available on their farms. His hands, once soft from inactivity, soon became blistered and rough as he toiled under the burning sun every day. At the end of each week, he received a small amount of coins, the first money he had earned in years. The villagers, seeing his new income, advised him that saving every single penny was the only path to true safety. He listened intently and found a large glass jar, placing it carefully under his bed to hide his growing treasure. Every evening, the sound of metal clinking against glass became his lullaby as he deposited his hard-earned wages into the jar. To fill the jar faster, he cut corners everywhere, often skipping meals and letting his family go to bed hungry. Their clothes turned to rags and their shoes wore thin, yet he refused to spend a single coin on necessities. He became obsessed with the rising level of coins, believing that this glass prison was the key to their future security. Seasons changed from summer to winter, and while the jar filled, the happiness in his home slowly drained away. Finally, the day arrived when the last coin was pushed in, and the jar could hold no more of his savings. With a heavy jar and a hopeful heart, the old man walked to the market to buy a large stock of rice. He confidently placed his jar on the counter, expecting to buy enough grain to feed his family for a whole year. The merchant shook his head sadly, informing him that the price of rice had doubled since he started saving his money. He stared at his coins in disbelief, realizing his savings could now purchase only half of what he expected. The merchant looked at him and said simply that money sitting still loses its strength while prices continue to climb higher. He walked home with a lighter sack of grain and a heavy heart, understanding the cruel reality of inflation and time. That night he could not sleep, thinking about how his sacrifice had been eroded by the invisible thief known as inflation. He realized he needed a new strategy, one where his money would grow faster than the rising costs of living. Instead of hoarding the remaining coins, he went back to the market and purchased high-quality corn seeds for planting. With the rest of his capital, he bought a few young chickens, building a small but sturdy coop in his yard. He planted the corn seeds with care, watering them daily, watching as green shoots broke through the dark, fertile soil. The chickens grew quickly under his care, and soon they began to lay fresh eggs every single morning without fail. His family finally had nutritious eggs to eat, and he sold the surplus at the market to generate a daily income. Instead of hiding this new money, he used it to buy more chickens, expanding his flock and increasing his production. When autumn arrived, the corn stalks stood tall and golden, providing a bountiful harvest that far exceeded the cost of seeds. He sold the corn at a good price, keeping enough for his family and using the profit for his next venture. With the profits from the corn and eggs, the old man purchased a dairy cow to provide milk for the village. His grandson no longer went hungry. His cheeks were full and rosy, and laughter returned to their once silent home. The farm became a bustling hub of activity, with crops growing and animals thriving, creating a cycle of endless value. He looked at the dusty spot where the jar used to be and smiled, knowing his wealth was now alive. He took his grandson to the field, explaining that money is like a seed that must be planted to grow. Holding water in your hand is futile as it trickles away, just like cash loses value when kept under a mattress. True wealth comes when you make your money work for you, multiplying through smart investments rather than stagnant savings. The villagers now looked at him with respect, not as a lazy dreamer, but as a wise and prosperous farmer. Remember that saving is just the start, but investing is the vehicle that carries you to financial freedom and security. Start small with whatever you have today, let your assets grow, and never let your hard work lose its value. Thank you for watching this story on Wisdom Science Tales. Subscribe for more wisdom, and see you in the next video.